If you're a health or wellness professional who wants to build an online coaching business, you've probably been told to pick a niche. But for a lot of people, that advice doesn't actually work. It makes them feel overwhelmed because they don't know what niche to choose or even how to make the decision. Or in some cases, people may pick something that feels right, but then realize it doesn't bring them clients. So if either of those sounds familiar, keep watching, because in this video, I'll explain why the usual niche advice backfires. And more importantly, I'm going to show you how I've helped over 1,500 health and wellness professionals decide the best program for them to offer. It's helped many of them bring in an additional $10,000 a month, and sometimes a lot more. Hi, I'm Nicole Piper. I spent nearly 30 years as a marketer in the entertainment industry. I helped turn brands like MTV, Nickelodeon, and Pokemon into household names around the globe. I left that world behind because I wanted to do something that focused on my passion for natural health and wellness. And I realized a lot of people in that industry wanted to spend more time coaching and less time marketing. So I started helping health and wellness experts position and market themselves and their services. And since then, I've worked with more than 1,500 coaches and health professionals. And again, I saw them trying to force themselves into marketing systems that didn't align with who they are. They often ran on pressure and hype. And sometimes they worked, but a lot of times they didn't. And to many of them, the marketing tactics really kind of felt yucky. That's why I created the trust-based marketing method. It combines proven brand strategies with messaging that connects deeply, so you can attract more of the right clients without any yuck. Now let's talk about the pick a niche advice, because for many health coaches and wellness professionals, it's the very thing keeping them stuck. The first problem is that it can feel overwhelming. If you're one of the rare people who already know exactly who you want to serve, and if it's a profitable niche, that's great. But if you don't, being told just pick a niche can really leave you second guessing yourself and struggling to make that decision. The second problem is that it can give you a false sense of security. Most niche picking advice doesn't actually show you how to choose something that's both marketable and profitable. And that's the real danger, ending up with a niche that looks good on paper but doesn't translate into clients. So if pick a niche isn't the answer, what is? Well, the answer to that question is picking the right audience, an audience that's interested in what you do and motivated to get help. That kind of audience has three very specific traits. One is they know they have a problem. Two, the problem is really intense. And three, it shows up in their life a lot. The more frequent and the more intense the problem is, the more disruptive it is to their quality of life. And the more disruptive it is, the more urgently they want to fix it. That urgency is what brings you clients. They're already motivated to get help. So here's an extreme example just to illustrate this point. If you think about the difference between someone who gets mild headache versus someone who gets debilitating migraines 2 or 3 times a month. Lots of people get headaches, but they just pop a Tylenol and move on. Not a great audience. But migraines, that's a different story. They're severe, and they can really knock a person down. And when a person has them 2 or 3 times a month, that really messes with every part of their life. That's why someone dealing with frequent migraines is far more motivated to hire a coach than someone with an occasional headache. Now, there's something I didn't include on that list that a lot of people wonder about. So let me tell you the story of one of my clients, Allison, to see if you can guess what it is. So Allison is a naturopathic doctor, and she wanted to build an online business so she could reduce her hours in the clinic and spend more time at home with her kids. And she wanted to focus on eczema because that was one of the most common problems people came to her clinic with. So we started working on creating her marketing funnel to bring in new eczema clients. But after a few weeks, something came up just in a casual conversation I was having with Allison, and she mentioned that she had healed herself of interstitial cystitis. So I asked her why she didn't want to help people with that instead, and she said because it's not that common. Then I asked her a critical question. I asked her which problem is more intense, eczema or interstitial cystitis. She didn't even hesitate. She said interstitial cystitis is much worse. That's when I knew we had a winner. So we shifted gears and built her offer around that. We launched her funnel, and she immediately started booking calls and signing on new clients. And within just a couple of weeks, she had $5,000 in new revenue, and it just kept growing from there. And that's the power of focusing on the right audience. Now, there's another obstacle people run into when trying to pick a niche. It's something called the curse of knowledge. And you probably have it because you spent years studying root causes. You know things like how inflammation drives fatigue. You know how toxicity affects hormones. And you know how gut health really ties into everything else. But your audience might not know those things. They're not walking around saying, I need to reduce systemic inflammation. They're saying things like, I can't think straight, or I'm exhausted all the time, or I've gained weight and I can't lose it. When your marketing speaks to what you know instead of what people feel, it doesn't land, even if your solution is exactly what they need. So if you're not speaking their language, they really won't even notice you. So it's not about what you know, it's about what they say and what they feel. And the problem with a lot of niches I see is that they're focused on the root cause and not what the person is experiencing, the thing they're aware of. But when you build your offer around a problem that people are already aware of, a problem that shows up often and disrupts their quality of life, in a way they just really can't ignore, then you have something that's both marketable and profitable. And that's the starting point for your offer. Then the next step is to create your unique positioning so you become the obvious choice for your audience. I'll save that for another video. Now, if you want a shortcut to finding the right audience and discovering the single most profitable offer for your coaching business, I created something called the 10K a month offer finder. In less than 30 minutes, it will guide you to find the best offer to focus on to help you make $10,000 a month or more. It includes 3 clarity accelerators that help you decode what your ideal clients are already complaining about, select low-hanging fruit that will bring you clients fastest, and filter down to the one offer that's both aligned with you and in demand. I'll put a link to it in the description so you can grab it for yourself. And that's it for today. If you like this video, please tap the like button and subscribe to the channel if you want more tips and insights how to become the obvious choice for the people you want to help. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.